This is a relay project.
Real Talk starts right now. Here's Ryan Jesperson.
All right, well, we're going to have some fun on this episode. Real Talkers, grateful that you're here with us on this, the final episode of the week, which you know means it's going to wrap with the Flamethrower presented by our friends at the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. That coming up. And a three Pinters roundtable. 99% of you right now are going, who the hell are the three Pinters? Well, they are my men's league basketball team. We had our first game last night. This team is a hilarious composition, for the most part, of brewers and beer enthusiasts, with a couple of media players dragging down the ship, the anchors. That's right. But, of course, these guys are also entrepreneurs. They have hot political opinions. One of them you will recognize from the Real Talk live chat, where he's a regular participant. We're going to shoot the shit. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some of their new projects. A lot of what they're doing business-wise factors into or is relevant to a lot of the conversations we've been having here on the show, including Alberta's looming election, the municipal elections happening on October 20th, plus some downtown Edmonton anti-crime initiatives, red tape reduction initiatives, that big new Oilers fan park, that $400 million development, the deal between the city of Edmonton and the province that we talked about with Mayor Amarjeet Sohi just a few episodes back. We're going to get to all of that. And in just a second, the founder and editor of The Sprawl, an incredible, a really impressive independent media entity out of my hometown of Calgary, Jeremy Klaszus, is doing fantastic work there covering the Calgary election. We've made you a promise and a commitment that leading up to October 20th, we're going to do our best to cover as many possible storylines, to get to as many issues and dig into them in meaningful fashion. And that will continue today with Jeremy in just a second. In case you missed it, wanted to circle back on our conversation, an excellent one, about a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, with award-winning television news anchor, former radio host, and now a media entrepreneur, Lynda Steele, on our most recent episode, the 4th of September. Lynda, born in Hinton, Alberta, who plied her trade as the 6 o'clock news anchor for 20, 30 years, ultimately, all things considered, with Global Edmonton, now living in BC, talked to us about, of course, the news that she continues to watch. She continues to keep a close eye on storylines in her home province of Alberta, not just around the election, but also around some of the initiatives that Danielle Smith's UCP government has undertaken. That includes this kerfuffle, this quite frankly embarrassing story around school library books, and also some of the regulations around young female athletes and potentially trans athletes participating in minor sports or school-related sports in the province of Alberta. And Lynda pulled no punches in giving us her assessment of the state of politics, particularly the state of conservatism in Alberta today.
I am the biggest supporter of Alberta, but some of the stuff that's going on these days is making me really look and go, what the hell? It is very MAGA light. It seems unnecessary. It seems like stirring the pot to keep people in this sort of perpetual rage. I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't understand it. I have voted right across the spectrum, voted conservative many times, actually, but I don't recognize this version of conservatism. When I was a kid, like growing up in Hinton, Alberta, I remember seeing Joe Clark standing on our doorstep, Peter Leahy, Ralph Klein, Don Getty, Jim Prentice, and now we've got this version. I just don't get it. I don't think that it is necessary to be unkind, stir the pot, to get people at each other's throats. What is going on with this fixation about books and about transgender people? I thought Danielle Smith was super concerned about the economy.
So Lynda laid it all out there, Johnny. And what I thought was particularly interesting, and this was, I guess, in a sense...
Tell us how you really feel, Lynda.
Right? And what was kind of interesting is at the beginning, we sort of soft launched into the interview. We were kind of shooting the breeze a little bit. And I was like, hey, Lynda, because I had a few things I wanted to talk to her about, including that big demonstration on Capitol Hill in the United States, the Epstein survivors that were talking about releasing the list. And I go, we've got to get to that. We wanted to get to a few other stories. And so I said, hey, Lynda, just like out of curiosity, sort of a peek behind the curtain, Albertan, when you were the 6 o'clock anchor, when you were the lead anchor in your production meetings before the big supper hour news back in the day, when families used to gather around and watch, how would you characterize or how would you decide on what was going to be your lead story? What would you go with first? And she kind of lays it out and essentially said, what's most local, what resonates most with our local audience. And I thought, of course. Then I go ahead and lead with the Epstein stuff. And then this moment, which I thought was the most remarkable, the most significant moment, her most significant commentary of the entire conversation was kind of almost near the time where we said goodbye. It was right near the end. And it felt to me after like Lynda almost wanted to challenge her fellow Albertans to not to call people out in a sense, maybe aside from the government, but to say to people, what's going on? And maybe time to speak up if you don't like what you're seeing.
Yeah, I liked it yesterday. And I like we've had the premier in here several times.
Many times.
She's an intelligent woman.
For sure.
And that's why I was nodding my head when Lynda said this. I'm like, this stuff is like, it's not changing our economy. It's not making healthcare better. It's not making houses and life more affordable in Edmonton and the province in Calgary in general. I don't understand why we're so obsessed with it now, with the books, with the transgender athletes that like I said yesterday, no transgender athlete has demedaled, a cisgender male or female in any level of sport, competition or non-competitive. I couldn't find one single story of this upsetting one family, one student, one person, and to just go on and on about it when there's so many other important things.
Talking about, right?
It's like
right
what?
now.
Why?
If you Google Alberta and then click on news and see what you see, and I thought that
my
Lynda
mother
did a
in
good job
Ontario
as
was
well.
like, what are you guys doing? Like, and she's usually like, she's not like someone to jump into politics and take a side left or right. She's a very humble nurse who was a nurse for more than 50 years. And she just said, how are you guys doing out there?
Yeah.
And I could tell by her tone, I was like, yeah, it's kind of wild out here.
Well,
like,
and people keep using the word and I want to get to some of the comments we had. Lynda posted on her social before we even got ours out. I was like, man, she's the highlight machine. I love it. But a lot of comments, it's driving a lot of discussion, which is always a very good thing. That's kind of the whole point of what we do. Mm-hmm. But she did wrap with that challenge to the government saying, I thought Danielle Smith was super concerned about the economy. Like, where's the talk there? Not to say the government's not doing anything on it, but that's not what people are talking about.
It seems to be taking a back seat.
Attention, right? I think people are looking at Alberta going like, are you guys aware there's other stuff going on? Yeah. So Lynda posts on her Twitter, on her X, at Steele Talk. She goes, oh, Alberta, I've only been gone 14 years and I hardly recognize you anymore. And then she posts that portion that you just heard of our conversation together. She says, here's part of my chat with Jesperson on Real Talk today. By the way, like about 90,000 views of that just on her Twitter. It's been retweeted about 200 times, so it landed with people,
as soon as we posted this yesterday, I keep track of the analytics.
Took off.
But it was immediate, like people started, I knew it was going to have some steam. So.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I'm sure that the comments are all going to be civil and gentle, and, I'm sure that everybody's so I wanted to get to this, though. We give people the voice, like it's driving discussion, which is great. Vance in L.A. loved what she had to say, all caps, absolutely, with the great, phenomenal Lynda Steele, says, thank you, Lynda. Come back and run for premier, please. She gave him the laughing emoji. I think she appreciated that. Then Donnie Brook, great handle, says conservatives are frustrated with endless federal liberal governments and they've had enough. And says, Lynda, once you start calling this frustration MAGA or MAGA Maple, MAGA Light, it says, well, I can tell that you just don't get it. Say, maybe ask what happened to the Liberal Party. Instead, they are a far cry from the Paul Martin Liberals. Content creator Jasmine Lane chimes in, asks Lynda, why do you characterize people you don't like in a democracy as MAGA? What does MAGA have to do with Canadians who are suffering, poor, or feeling hopeless? Says, is it bad to use your voice in a democratic nation? Will you continue to name call and attempt to smear those who do? That from Jasmine, and pretty significant response to her comment there. I do think you can draw a bunch of direct lines to MAGA and Danielle Smith, including the fact that she was at Mar-a-Lago and at Trump's inauguration and the like, but I digress.
Yeah.
Morgan says, you're absolutely right. The UCP's election platform, jobs and economy. What jobs and economy? Since then, it seems like they've mostly focused on nonsense, identity politics, pandering to extremist ideological nonsense. Morgan says, I still think this is mostly used to distract from their scandals. Silly Rabbit says, I was a conservative. I come from a long line of conservative voters. I voted for Ralph Klein. My grandparents would receive Christmas cards from Peter Lougheed.
Ooh.
Nice. I don't know who this new Conservative Party is, says Silly Rabbit. Guys in Disguise said it was great to see Lynda weigh in, says they miss her common sense. Nathan getting a nice shot in, says Ryan who? Clint calls her a media bailout sellout. Wasted Canadian says, Lynda, the way you feel about Alberta, we feel the same way about Canada. Jeff Gilmore invites her to stay in BC, says it's a sinking ship. Nanya business says, so you agree with porn in schools, Lynda? It's not the conservatives stirring the pot. It's the, guess who, leftists going batshit crazy and trying to force the rest of us to conform. Master Shifu says, now do the rest of Canada. Disillusioned invites Lynda to earmuffs, kids. Fuck all the way off, suggesting that MAGA is the greatest thing to ever happen in the United States. Free Alberta, says Alberta's glad you're gone, Lynda. Stay in communist BC. Wow. And John Tarek, ever the diplomat. Shut the fuck up, you dumb broad. Thank you, John, for your productive contribution.
Communist BC. It is hard, though. Like I said, my mother is not one to ever text me a single thing about politics. So,
right?
So for her to be like, hey, how are you guys doing? Like, it's obvious. It's not just BC. The entire country is kind of like, what are you guys doing over there? Meanwhile, and listen, the MAGA thing, like, we have to mention that the premier went uninvited down to the inauguration of Donald Trump on taxpayer money. Like, we have to talk about that. We
under
can't
the
not,
guys
you know
of getting
what I mean?
trade deals done,
Yeah,
for sure.
of
But I
course.
mean, like, you
Which
know, appearing
we're
on
not.
went down to that Traeger U podcast event with Ben Shapiro. Like, listen, we don't need to sit here and make the argument. The fact of the matter is, I mean, there's Cabinet Minister Devin Dreeshen photographed with the MAGA hat. I'm like, it's fine. You can try to distance yourself from that all you want. And by the way, I also think, but like buried in like the dumb broad comments and all the F-bombs, I think was a fair point, which is this, and I think that it's a position that the show's taken for a long time. Maybe we'll lead off with this with Klaszus in just a second. But I don't think that all of the concerns, the gripes, the disillusionment, the frustration, the anger that some Albertans feel aimed at the federal government, taking a look at policies that have, in their estimation or in real life, have hindered the potential of Alberta's energy industry and the like. I don't think it's fair or responsible or productive to simply write it off as Maple MAGA, right? And so that's what I would agree with at the heart of some of those comments.
I actually agree with Danny when she gets her back up about the economy. Like when she goes up against the feds, when she barters for a better deal for Alberta, I thought that's what she was elected to do. But all this book ban stuff and the transgender stuff and the CPP and the Alberta pension plan, like all this stuff that we know people didn't vote for and even now are kind of like, I don't know about that. It's kind of weird when in Ontario, you got Rob Ford poured out Crown Royal. Like that's the kind of stuff that would get the anger of Albertans all together as one. Because right now you're kind of pitting Albertans against other Albertans. It doesn't make sense.
We're going to have to ask when we get the three Pinters in here. We'll have to ask them how now they're in the beer business.
Well, they probably feel bad about wasting
business.
booze of any kind.
But yeah, we'll have to ask them about this, how they feel about Doug Ford, pardon me.
Sorry,
Doug Ford pouring out the Crown Royal. But why don't we get to our feature interview here, presented by our friends at Mercedes-Benz Edmonton West, Jeremy Klaszus. There's that photo of Ford.
Like this is Time
More on
magazine cover.
That honestly feels like that is an iconic photo. For those of you listening on the podcast,
It's
Rob,
amazing.
why do I keep calling him Rob? Did you call him?
Because I do it.
It's
all
in
the
my
time.
brain now.
I do it. Yeah.
This is like that
It's
night.
Doug Ford.
That's that nightmare from the other show when I started calling Jeffrey Wilkinson, right? The Jewish scholar started calling him Jonathan Wilkinson, like the cabinet minister.
But these photos are like whoever took
such a good photo. So Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, standing in front of a Protect Ontario podium, dumping out that's like a 60, I think, of Crown Royal as the what are they called again? Not Disaronno. What's the company that owns it starts with a D? The big bottling company, one of the biggest booze companies in the world.
Sure, the boys will tell
announced. Yeah, they're going to stop distilling. Crown Royal will still be some of Crown Royal's business will continue to happen in Manitoba and Quebec. I think like some bottling and maybe some shipping or something like that. But they won't be actually making the product, distilling the product in Canada anymore, in Ontario anymore. And Ford's pissed about it.
Time to go back to Royal Reserve, Canadians.
Hey, buddy, Canadian Club. There's a lot of Canadian options out there, plus some great independents. Actually, some that might actually taste quite a bit better than Crown Royal.
You don't get a free sticker with Canadian Club. That's the R&R stickers all over your BMX.
Do they
when
still
you were
do the
19?
stickers? Do these BMX when you're 19? I like where you're going with this. Jeremy Klaszus is the founder and the editor at Sprawl Calgary. You can check it out at sprawlcalgary.com, and it's always such a pleasure to welcome him to Real Talk, brother. It's good to see your face again. How you been?
Doing well, getting busy with the election coming up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Great to be here. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, it's nice to see your face. What do you make of that Premier Doug Ford Crown Royal photo? That's like my favorite news photo. Johnny, I think the podium one is even better. I think that's the news photo of 2025 to this point, unless I'm really forgetting one. Jeremy, you appreciate the art of a good still image.
Absolutely.
Look at that. Protect.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Protect Ontario. Well, Jared, we wanted to make sure that we checked in with you. You know, we're talking to all of the major candidates seeking the mayor's office in Edmonton and Calgary. We've got some more coming up next week, which we're looking forward to. But, of course, you've been doing some great work keeping a keen eye on Calgary's municipal election, not just the mayoral races, but the parties that are clashing as well. People can check it out at sprawlcalgary.com. If you were to be put on the spot in front of an audience and be asked what is the number one election issue, or even what is the ballot box question for Calgary's election coming up next month, what would you say?
I mean, so far, it is, if not the ballot box issue, a ballot box issue is blanket rezoning. Everyone's talking about that. I was at election forums the last 2 evenings. Mayoral one last night, and the first question to the candidates was about blanket rezoning. So a lot of candidates are saying they want to repeal it. Others are saying they want to kind of tweak it. But I think that's shaping up to be the biggest one. Just like the influx of growth to Calgary and the intensity of redevelopment and grappling with just that intense population infusion, which is kind of the eternal question for Calgary. That's why my news organization is called The Sprawl. It's how do you deal with all these people coming to the city, and how do you accommodate them? So it's the eternal question in a way.
We had a pretty remarkable development on our show no more than a couple of weeks ago. I want to call it up here. We had a roundtable. We call it our group chat roundtable. These are friends of mine, like in a real life group chat, and every once in a while we'll put them in front of cameras. This was the 22nd of August when they were in here. We put them in front of microphones, and they'll just basically take the spirit of the group chat and put it out for all to enjoy. And there was a remarkable development where a candidate in the municipal election, my pal Harman Candola, who's running for the Better Edmonton Party, which is the Tim Cartmel party, basically states in an exchange with Jenny Adams, who's like a comms professional, crisis comms, and a strategic, like a political advisor, says to her, infill is not an issue this election, or infill should not be an issue this election. And it kind of blew everybody's doors off. Probably number one, because the mayoral candidate that Harman's running under was the one that called for a moratorium on infill in Edmonton until the city could get it figured out. And we've debated on this show whether or not that was the appropriate course of action. Would hurt him, but pretty remarkable for a candidate under that party to say that. Jenny pushes back and says, what are you talking about? This isn't an issue. How can you say this isn't an issue? People are up in arms. People are losing it. And they kind of have this exchange back and forth. And Harman makes the argument that it really depends on where you live in the city. He says where my riding is, where I live, the people I'm talking to, this isn't happening. These wartime bungalows, these 100-year-old bungalows, or these original builds are not being torn down to make way for sixplexes and eightplexes. It's not an issue. Jenny pointing out that in other parts of Edmonton, and I'm sure Calgary as well, it's a huge issue because the entire dynamic of the entire look, the feel of streets are changing. Proponents of it are applauding the fact that it's adding density and potentially affordable housing, and just reiterated to me that it might be an obvious thing to say, but not everybody is on the same page here, and there do seem to be sort of within the city's boundaries, within the city limits, regional perspectives that can certainly vary. How about in Calgary? What's the storyline there? What's the consensus on sort of what's determining how people are feeling about that number one campaign issue?
Yeah, well, it's the same thing in Calgary for sure, where you have pockets of the city, and especially in the inner city, where you have intense infill redevelopment. And then you have other parts of the city, like you say, that are kind of unaffected. Like you go to some of the outer wards, although some of the outer wards also are dealing with it's an issue in some of the outer wards as well. But yeah, for sure, it's a big issue, and I think on both sides, like for people who are opposed to blanket rezoning, and then also people who are advocating it and saying, hey, we need to intensify development. We've got a housing crisis. We need to build as much as we can.
Which is true.
So it's a big issue, and will continue to be.
Has one of the candidates, or have several of the candidates, taken particularly interesting or newsworthy, noteworthy positions on it? Is somebody, would you say, owning the news cycle, getting the most headlines with a position or proposal that they put in front of the electorate?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a party in Calgary called Communities First, and they're kind of leading with repealing blanket rezoning. And so, yeah, that's their focus. That's what kind of the first thing they're talking about. You have another party that is a more slightly left of Communities First, called the Calgary Party. And that party is not opposed to blanket rezoning, but says they'll fix it. They'll tweak it. And so you've got these different perspectives on it. You don't really have anybody on the mayoral level anyway coming out and saying, like, this is awesome. How the city has done this is fantastic, and we should keep on with it. Like, everybody's proposing, hey, we're going to do something with this, but it's a question of degree.
Pretty interesting to see these political parties. We were talking about this on the show a couple episodes ago, that it's not been made easy, I think, for voters. And I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but if you look at how people vote, federally speaking, for example, last election pretty much was the Conservatives versus the Liberals. So even if you spend 10 minutes every 4 years thinking about politics, you generally know which party you're voting for. I tend to vote Conservative, or I've always been a Liberal supporter. Taking a look at Calgary's, you've got the Better Calgary Party, you've got the Calgary Party, you've got the Communities First Party. Some of them will be endorsing a mayoral candidate. Some of them have a mayoral candidate, correct me if I'm wrong on that, on their slate or as a member of that party. Generally speaking, I know you're a man that's always out and about. I want to talk to you about your incredible printing press, mobile press initiative in just a little bit, but you're always there talking to people, picking people's brains, doing the work to better understand your audience and where Calgarians are at. How is the political party? This is the first municipal election we've ever seen them in Alberta. How is it landing with voters? How is it landing with Calgarians? Do they understand what it's all about? Do they notice a big difference?
Yeah, the parties thing is interesting because even the parties themselves in Calgary are saying that, hey, we're not excited about political parties on the municipal level. And so this is, and this isn't surprising. I mean, when the province did surveys on this to look at, should we introduce municipal political parties, the public response is no, we don't want this. So the province was aware of that. They brought it in anyway, only in Calgary and Edmonton. And so now you have an electorate that is, number one, doesn't kind of know the lay of the land. As you say, they're like, okay, here's these new parties. Who are these people? What are they about? Like, how do I, where do they sit on the political spectrum? How do I kind of make sense of this? And I think that you're also seeing kind of an anti-party sentiment. That's what I'm hearing from candidates, and what I'm seeing both from independent candidates and, like I said, party candidates, where the party, like yesterday at the mayoral forum, Brian Thiessen, who is the mayoral candidate for the Calgary party, he said, I'm not a fan of this. I wasn't excited about this when the province brought it in, but this is the system, and so we're working within it. Sonia Sharp of Communities First said the same thing. So you have even the people who are with the parties are saying, hey, we're not excited about this. The other thing I'm hearing, which is interesting, is party candidates kind of downplaying their party affiliation, not mentioning it in their campaign materials. And so the original thinking about these parties was, or the concern was, if you run with a party, you have a massive advantage because you can raise a certain amount of money, but then the party can also raise that amount of money. So you basically have theoretically double the firepower. But I think what you're seeing is the electorate being like, what's with these parties? Why do we have them? And how does this benefit us exactly? And so I think independents actually have an edge in a way, and are that resonates, just being independent, just being like, I'm an independent candidate. I'm not beholden to a political party. I'm independent. I'm here to represent you. So it's interesting to see, and we'll see, like, does being a political party actually help, or is it a liability? We'll see.
Yeah, this is, and we don't really know. Like you said, this election will kind of, I think, be a case study, and will serve as a case study, not just for the many other communities in the province of Alberta, but probably for other provinces that don't have this type of legislation in place. For the record, if people want to check it out, we did get into this with Lynda Steele in our most recent episode. She was talking about the role that political parties and slates have played for a long time in Vancouver, and some of the downfalls of the negative impacts to that as well. I'm taking a look at data, a new poll from Leger showing that Calgary's mayor, the incumbent, Jyoti Gondek, leading amongst decided voters with a modest, let's be honest, 15% support, which suggests that this race is wide open. Jeremy Farkas, a regular contributor to our Real Talk live chat, by the way, trailing the incumbent per this poll. Take it for what it's worth. By just 1 point at 14%. Sonia Sharp, the Ward 1 councillor, at 8%. Due to referring to this Leger poll again, could change, will change. It's a snapshot in time. Jeff Davison, who was on the show here a few weeks ago, at 6%, and Brian Thiessen at 3%. That's who you were just talking about. What sense are you getting based on talking to people from some of the polling resources you've seen and your journalism about how incumbents may fare this election? I know that several of them are not running again. We've typically looked at incumbents in any election at any level of government as having a real advantage. There's that name recognition, that familiarity advantage. But it sounds like Calgary might turn the tide on that one this time around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and in the past, in Calgary, you could be an incumbent and you could do whatever you want or not do. Like you could just be reelected all the time. And actually, I was looking back to the 2004 and 2007 elections because I was curious about some of the numbers. And a bunch of those candidates were just acclaimed. Like nobody ran against them. And that is not the case this time. You've got incumbents who are not running again after one term. And if they did run, they would be very likely to lose. You have, on the mayoral level, it's very up for grabs. It is not at all a sure bid for Jyoti Gondek, and that's very different than in the past. I mean, Dave Bronkanye and Naheed Nenshi after Al Dur, after their first terms, it was smooth sailing. It's like you're running. There might be like a university student running against you or something. In this case, Gondek is not popular, and Farkas has name recognition. He's been a city councillor in the past. He was kind of a Manning Foundation conservative councillor, but has gone on it's been called a redemption tour, where after losing the last election, he's raised a bunch of money for charity, and is now has adopted some different progressive stances as well. So I think the electorate is not entirely set on any of these candidates and is trying to ascertain, okay, what do we do here? And that poll shows that there's not a whole lot of enthusiasm so far.
Yeah, I mean, we'll also note that like any polling that's being conducted right now, and I've been privy to some sort of internal polling from a couple of the Edmonton mayoral campaigns, and it indicates a very similar horse race. Most recent ones show Andrew Knack with an itty-bitty lead over a couple of candidates nipping at his heels, Cartmel and Walters. And you got Raheem Jaffer actually showing more strongly than I thought he would, to be honest. I don't mean that as an insult. I said it to his face the other day when he was here in studio. I actually really enjoyed a conversation with Raheem Jaffer. People can check that out in our podcast archives or on our YouTube channel. And then you've got other candidates from there, including Tony Canarina for longtime city councilor name recognition. But I think a lot of people are probably narrowing it down to those first three that I mentioned. If I had $100 in my pocket, I wouldn't be willing to bet it on anybody in Calgary or Edmonton right now. That's how close I think the races are going to be. We'll also note that the real campaigns, I mean, that have strong fundraising, that are sitting on a decent bank right now, are going to be deploying bigger marketing resources in the weeks to come. There's still about 6 weeks until this election, and a lot can change. People can continue to follow your coverage, Jeremy, by visiting sprawlcalgary.com. That's where I encourage every single Real Talk supporter to support your independent journalism in Calgary by supporting the Sprawl through different subscription models. You can, of course, subscribe to the podcast that Jeremy's done in the past, and, of course, you can follow their social media as well. That's sprawlcalgary.com. Before you go, I have to ask you about this. I absolutely love your printing press. What do you officially call it? Your Sprawl pop-ups, but like you have like
pop-up press, yeah.
Pop-up press. You have like, well, you describe it, not me. This is incredible. I just love this.
Yeah, so it's a vintage 1967 letter press, like a 60-pound cast iron letter press mounted into a cargo e-trike. So this summer I've been taking it around, and people can print pieces of Calgary history. I get photos from the Glenbow archives, and then try to have like a photo of wherever I have the bike, so people can print a piece of history of where they're standing. And it's also a piece of journalism history to experience that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I just love what you're doing. I don't know anybody that's more passionate about what they do than you, and we wish you continued success. Thanks for the work you're doing on covering Calgary's election. We've been following it, Jer, and we appreciate you coming on the show to talk about it.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
All right, brother. That's Jeremy Klaszus. He is the founder and editor of The Sprawl, which you can check out online at sprawlcalgary.com. Jeremy appearing in our feature interview presented by our friends at Mercedes-Benz Edmonton West, the best or nothing. All right, in just a second, the Three Pinters Roundtable. I guarantee you will be entertained. You will be informed. That's coming up in less than 2 minutes. But first, I want to remind you that Alberta is winning right now with Play Alberta. Not only is Play Alberta the most safe and secure way to bet casino, sports, and lottery online, and not only does all the revenue go right back to the province, but Albertans are winning big every single day. 10, 50, or even as much as $100,000 is won daily on Play Alberta. They've even made millionaires. And best of all, for a limited time only, new players can receive a $1,000 casino bonus. You can download the app today wherever you get your apps. Check out all the great offers and get started. You can also find them online at playalberta.ca. Every Thursday on Real Talk, moving forward, we're going to be bringing you Alberta Wins, stories of our beloved home province winning on the national or international stage. Real Talk would not be here without the incredible partnership with California Closets of Canada. This is a Canadian-owned, Canadian-operated business manufacturing all of their guaranteed-for-life installations right here in Alberta. The California Closets journey, whether you're looking to get your garage overhauled with an organizational system, whether you're looking for that walk-in closet you've always dreamed of, or maybe a Murphy bed to translate or to transform your home office into a guest room, it all starts with a free design consultation. You got nothing to lose. You brainstorm with one of their talented design consultants. They're going to map out a budget for you. They can work with any budget, by the way, and then you go on from there. They have different levels of design. And all of it, I guarantee you, is going to not just increase the value of your home, but increase your enjoyment as you live there. Imagine that, a double whammy with California Closets of Canada. You can find them online at californiaclosets.ca. Hey, did you, as a successful Canadian, spend part of your summer this summer kind of taking a look back at your business, what got it to you this point, pausing and reflecting, and then maybe looking ahead to your career or retirement goals? At North Road Investment Council, they're working with Canadians who've done exactly that, built successful careers. Now they want to ensure that their wealth is being organized to deliver a successful retirement. The typical North Road client has at least $2 million in investable assets coming from an analytical or detail-driven profession, looking for engineers, architects, dentists. If that sounds like you, the team at North Road is interested and open to a conversation. You can visit their website, northroadic.com. Start that conversation built on clarity, discipline, and true alignment. And our friends at Solar by Kuby know that their customers across Western Canada have enjoyed this summer for more reasons than you might think, and that probably includes every single time that they've opened their power bill. Imagine opening your power bill and not flinching. That's what solar can do. And by producing your own power, you can save between 20 to 100% on your electricity costs. Most systems paying for themselves these days in 5 to 10 years. Plus, you've got the Canada Greener Homes Loan. You've got programs like the Clean Energy Improvement Program, so you don't have to shell out the full cost to get started. The team at Kuby will help you through the process. They'll fill out all the forms. It's not too late to get solar on your roof before the snow flies. You can get a quote today, a free one, by visiting their website. That's kuby.ca. You find them online, kuby.ca. Solar by Kuby, proudly presenting Positive Reflections, the first episode every week, right here on Real Talk. Well, what a pleasure this is to welcome three teammates of mine on the Edmonton, what are we actually called? The men's what's the basketball league called, Beermonger? I can't remember.
Edmonton
The Edmonton Basketball Association.
Yeah.
Div 9. Maybe we'll be bumped up following our big win in our first game of the big, powerful win last night. But these are three of my teammates on the three Pinters basketball team. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the program Andrew Ironmonger, the founder of the Alberta Beer Guide, making his on-air debut on the program. As a matter of fact, a pair, a dastardly duo, devastatingly handsome fellas, beer entrepreneurs, the owner of Analog Brewing, Adam Corsaut. Adam, it's great to have you here on the show. Nice job. What are you opening up there, by the way?
Oh, I got to start my day with Proxy Cerveza.
This is your Proxy Cerveza, Lime Cerveza.
Lime Cerveza, my favorite beer we make.
Okay, there you go. And Ryan Huska. Ryan, you've just cracked a can of what, pal?
Dog Island's nice tea, hard iced tea.
Okay, hey Ryan. That's the first time I've ever called him Ryan in my life. Huska.
Let's call him Huska. Can't have two Ryans on this show.
Is that Alberta's highest rated, award-winning 3 years in a row hard iced tea that you're holding there, pal?
I would like to say so.
Yeah. No, actually, you do have the hardware. Yeah, you actually have the trophies downstairs. Now, there's several reasons why we wanted to have you guys on the show, and we're really looking forward to this. We like to wrap up our Fridays with some candid conversation and get into some issues that matter with real-life perspectives. But let me provide a bit of a scene setter for the audience as well. The two of you are in cahoots, which I love on this. Ryan is one of the owners of Dog Island Brewing out of Slave Lake, by the way, proudly, Slave Lake, Alberta, shout out. And Adam is one of the owners. Are you the owner? Are you one of the owners? You have your business partner, Brian, right?
Yeah.
But you're one of the owners of Analog in Edmonton, just south of the river. The two of you have collaborated with the Growlery to open The Den, which is a super cool, it's a tap room, basically. I'll let you guys describe it. But you've been doing business for a few months now, 2 floors below us, right here in the historic Mercer Warehouse in downtown Edmonton. How's that been going so far?
Oh, it's been going really well. It was great. We opened up at the tail end of the Oilers playoff run, which was fantastic. We had tons of people come through there. Great location. I mean, we're right across from Rogers, so we can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, so for anybody that's looking to find you guys, you go in the door right on the corner of 104th and 104th. If you're going up the steps, you're going to the Alfred, and if you're going down the steps, you're going to the Den. It's kind of a unique business model, Adam. You guys are 3 breweries cooperating and sharing taps.
You know what? And I think it's what all of us love about craft beer is that, like, we by and large we all get along. Like we have a basketball team, like you said, the Pinters. We're all brewery owners or sales reps or whatever, and like in theory we're competition, but we all love each other, we're helping each other out. So like but for years before this became official, our little work together with Doggone and the Growlery, I'd be like, well, I'm here to sell my product, but you're asking me about stuff that we don't make. Oh, well, it's made by this brewery or this brewery or this brewery. Let me help out my friends, because it's all of us versus the big guys. It's an army of Davids versus the Goliaths is what we all say, or we all look at it. So this partnership at the Den, it's just wonderful. It's 3 breweries coming together to do a unique opportunity that none of us could do alone, but it gives us a great opportunity. So.
I knew that you guys would be all right on the show, but I didn't realize Adam's voice. I think you might need to be a regular on the podcast. So you've got this.
Yeah, the cameras might offset because I got a face for radio, but the voice at least works. So.
Yeah, you don't have a voice for newspaper, which is good. But this is Andrew. You've been a champion. We did our craft beer roundtable. I think it was a couple of years ago now, wasn't it, or at least a year ago, which was a lot of fun. We had our buddy Cole in there from Bent Stick Brewing, of course, and we had Polyrhythm on.
Yeah, Chelsea from Polyrhythm.
Chelsea was doing an amazing job. But you with the Alberta Beer Guide, which is currently, I think, on hiatus. Is that fair to say? By the way, let the folks know, what did you just crack there before we go any further?
This is a great story. It all starts in a tavern.
Oh, it all starts in a tavern. This is an analog brew. What is this? What's he drinking?
So this is our dark amber ale. So it's a hybrid between like an American amber and an English brown ale. I honestly think it's perhaps our best brewed beer. It's the most perfect recipe for what it is. This is Brian and I, when Brian was a student at U of A, my business partner and best friend for now 17 years. He used to be at U of A. We'd go to the Rat, get a pitcher of Big Rock Trad and a platter of fries, and that was our meal. Yeah. So this was nostalgia glasses of what Big Rock Trad used to be. So. Yeah.
So, but you as founder of the Alberta Beer Guide, you've been obviously telling Alberta's craft beer stories, Alberta's beer stories for a long time. I don't know anybody that's more passionate or, quite frankly, more connected in Alberta's beer scene than you. But what these guys were doing with the Den, how did that strike you? Because I know that was something right when they were first opening, you were pretty enthusiastic about.
Absolutely, yeah. As the landscape continues to change, things are getting more competitive, especially in the local scene. Back in the day, you could only go to Beer Revolution or the Underground or Sherwood to get local beer. Now it's everywhere. So there is a lot more competition, but you win a lot more when you have collaboration. So we seeing it with these guys in the Den, like bringing 3 tap rooms. Like, you're all the way out in Slave Lake. That's 12 hours away, right? No, it's only 2. But
wait a minute. But it's a constant grind for you guys, and we don't want to get too in. Like, this is not. I mean, it's definitely a beer roundtable, but it's not going to be exclusively a beer roundtable. I guarantee.
We'll see about that.
I'm going to put Adam in the hot seat to talk politics. I should let the audience know, by the way, because people will love this. The Real Talk live chat will absolutely love this. People love putting a face to a name. So Adam is Adam C. from the live chat. If you've ever heard Adam C. chiming in on the live chat, it's Adam Corsaut from Analog Brewing. Yeah. We sure appreciate your friendship with the show. So we'll talk a bit of politics. I want to talk about some of the red tape stuff you guys have run into and the like. But to talk about the beer business for just a second, for you guys, you can be brewing like the finest beers on planet Earth, and obviously you're gonna be able to draw people to your tap rooms, and then you got to work to get your beers into as many beer stores and liquor stores as possible. But what really strikes me as an outsider, watching you guys work, listening to you guys talk, is the challenge of getting your beers on taps in bars and pubs, and it can be incredibly competitive, and it doesn't particularly strike me as like an even playing field or an even landscape. Take us into this.
Yeah, it's tricky to navigate, right? Because I find Alberta welcomes everybody. So when we go to a lot of bars and pubs and things we try and get on tap, we're competing against BC and Ontario, where a lot of other provinces, such as BC, they kind of embrace their own and don't bring in a lot of outside breweries or anything like that. So we're competing against other provinces. We're competing against the big macro guys. And then that's why we all kind of came together to support each other here in Edmonton and build each other up rather than, keep trying to feud amongst each other and tear down.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
this is the first time I've ever heard you ask if you can jump in on a conversation.
I know, we were
put
told
a
to cut each other off.
You put a microphone in front of me, and now I'm nervous about
is
seeming like an asshole.
It's okay.
Wait,
Adam.
my mom's listening.
Come as
Jerk.
you are.
No. But I think Edmonton's a little different in that way because Edmonton welcomes everyone. Edmonton, you go to I go to these restaurants where they're like, oh, it's 12 local taps, and local means west of Toronto. And I just spent 3 days doing sales down in Calgary, and I was bar after bar after bar where they're like, oh, no, we want local only. I'm like, oh, we're Alberta-based. They're like, no, local means in Calgary, this side of the Bow River. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, Calgary's different. Calgary is like very like, we support local, and local means our city. And then I was up in Red Deer doing sales, and I had some accounts where they were like, yeah, we only do rural Alberta because Calgary has enough people to support Calgary. Edmonton has enough people to support Edmonton. We're going to support the little guys, like out of Ponoka and Innisfail and all that. So they're like Nodding Donkey out of Drayton Valley, right? You're from Drayton Valley. I spent a few years.
Ponoka's not there anymore.
Yeah, I know. But Nodding Donkey out in Drayton Valley, you're got family ties, and I spent a few years there. I'm very happy to see Drayton Valley has their own brewery now.
Yeah,
they had taps in Red Deer because they were like, oh, we got to give rural Alberta love because Edmonton and Calgary won't. I was like, well, Edmonton would.
Edmonton does, yeah. I feel like Edmonton is quite. Not to say Calgary or rural isn't educated, but I feel like Edmonton is more embracing of, we all want good beer in Edmonton. Yeah. We'll support local, but have you had that new beer from Calgary? Have that new beer from Medicine Hat? Have you had that new one from up north, like Peace River? Like we want good shit.
100%. Yeah, I was just out in Rocky Mountain House or near Rocky Mountain House the other day, passing through Drayton Valley. Those types of things I love, like Medicine Hat. I love when you're
Friends
in
of
these
ours.
smaller communities, doing your best, not just to like support the local brewers, but also like just to get a sense of who's creating what and what the landscape looks like. I'm repping an investment that's near and dear to my heart in the cannabis space. My brother's the operations manager at Joy Botanicals. We're definitely in Canada not legally allowed to advertise cannabis, but I will say when I hit a dispensary, when I'm looking for the best cannabis in Canada, I personally look for Joy Botanicals. But it's been kind of like a tough pill to swallow, I think, for LPs, licensed producers, for weed growers. In Canada, not just Alberta, it's been a really tough road to hoe for a lot of people. We've seen a lot of them either swallowed up for pennies on the dollar by the big guys or just close their doors. However, I get the sense with the craft beer scene, and it might be apples and oranges, but I'm seeing new ones pop up. I'm seeing new ones open. That always kind of gets me excited to see that people.
Yeah.
You'd think that the market could potentially be flooded. How many craft breweries does Alberta have right now? Like probably closing in on 80. Something like that.
We're well over 100.
Yeah, we're well over 100.
Yeah,
130.
Yeah, give or take.
Okay, well, I was trying to be conservative in my estimate, but like that says something not just about people I think that are willing to take a risk, like the two of you sitting at this table, but also people that are willing to go ahead and try new things and support new breweries and get enthusiastic about an industry that didn't even exist 35 years ago.
Well, even in Alberta, truly, it didn't really exist until after 2016. We had a few smaller breweries. We had the Alley Cats, the Big Rocks, the Wild Rose, but there was a handful. It was less than 10 breweries, craft local breweries.
What was it, 12 breweries in 2012 was where we were at?
Basically,
is that right?
Yeah.
So did you always know that you wanted to to own a brewery? I mean, that's a huge commitment, obviously.
No. I always knew I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to own something, and my old job, I went to my boss the first time I had a commission check, and I was like, hey, is there any way that we can just sign me up that my commission just goes to buying part of this company so that eventually I'll be a co-owner? And I was 23 at the time. The guy looks at me, he's like, that might be the smartest thing I've ever been asked by somebody in their 20s, but no, this isn't a
but no,
this isn't a
get back in line.
This isn't a publicly traded. There's no shares to buy.
Sport check, sir.
Right? It was right. No. But no, I wanted to do my own thing, and like Brian's been my best friend since we were 18 years old, and there's a story about White Ave and all that. But we were best friends since we were 18, and I knew that I wanted to bet on myself. I wanted to say, look, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna do this. I got my family and I got few of my best friends, and we said, let's do it. And most people said, we have faith that I can do it and Brian can do it. So we're betting on you. Even though they weren't big craft beer people, they believed in us.
You are. Is Dog Island the only? I don't want to slight anybody else or be inaccurate here, but are you the only Indigenous-owned craft brewery in Alberta, or is there more? As far as you know,
As far as I know.
you are the only ones. Yeah. Did you always know, Ryan, you and your business partners, that you wanted to get into the business? And did you always know that you would open it? I mean, I should mention, I've been up in Slave Lake several times in the past few years and have always been sure to pop into your tap room. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. I love what you've done with the place. I came in there to drown my sorrows after getting a $540 speeding ticket coming into Slave Lake, for fuck's sakes. But
You're helping the local economy.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Did you see what he was driving, though?
Yeah, well, it's like it was one of those real bullshit photo radar placements. I knew I got it as soon as I got it. I saw it happen. But it was one of those zones. I didn't bring you here to bitch about this.
No,
it
that's
goes
fine.
from, you know what I'm talking about?
I feel your pain.
Right by the big car wash. It goes from 90 to 50.
Yeah. Only ticket I got in like 5 years was that
It
area.
was a huge. Anyway, I digress. Did you always know that you wanted to own a brewery, and did you always know you wanted to base it out of Slave Lake?
So it was kind of a funny story. So I grew up with Ben, who is one of the owner brewers, and him and Chad had been there in Slave Lake. So Chad is the other owner of Dog Island, and the two of them were there brewing beer themselves. And I was always like a huge craft beer enthusiast, so I came to Slave Lake to visit with them and hang out. And they're like, "Here, do you want to try our craft beer that we made?" And I thought it's like when your uncle makes fruit wine
in the bathtub.
Yeah, and it's like crazy sweet, and you're like, "Oh, this is delicious," and he gives you a case and whatever. I digress.
And you never drink it.
Yeah.
And so I tried it, and I was like, "Wow, this is fantastic." And Ben said, "Oh, you look surprised." I'm like, "I am surprised. I didn't know what it would taste like. It's incredible." At that moment, I think it kind of light bulbed, and everyone was like, "Hey, would this be a business plan to go forward?" So I jumped in as sales and marketing and stuff like that, obviously from here in Edmonton. And those two went to work renovating the space and brewing the beer and creating just, a fantastic culture in Slave Lake for craft beer. And we applied for our license in 2015. So it's been a long time.
You've been doing it for 10 years. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 10-year mark for like licensing and everything, but it'll be 2026 where we celebrate our actual 10-year anniversary. So like when the big brew house was purchased and we started producing beer and canning beer, that is when we consider it to be like the actual foundation of that.
When these guys got started, they all had full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And they were brewing evenings and weekends, small batches out of Ben's dad's electrical business in the back. And then they'd open up and they'd be like, "Hey, we're open, come buy beer." And the town would line up and they'd sell out in a couple hours.
Yeah, just
and then they were like, "Well, fuck, that's our entire beer supply. Like, we need to make more. Come back in 3 weeks."
Well, and I love how people perceive it too, because they'll be like, "Oh, can you make more tomorrow?" It's like, well, it won't be beer yet.
Yeah. Yeah, we can boil some grains, but you don't want them.
It takes a while, right? But yeah, sometimes people don't understand it. But yeah, like that's awesome. Like when the only thing we've had anywhere comparable is Weird Beer, where we get the line out the parking lot, and then people go, "Oh, you sold out? How fast can you make more?" Well, that was a lager, so 5 weeks.
And tee up this, Ironmonger, tee this up for us. This is, and I'm showing the website right now.
Teed up.
Hey, nice. Yeah, T-E-A it up, tee it up. Very nicely done. Weirdbeer.ca. People can check it out. WYRDBIER.ca. We're going to ask you two about what you did for it last year and are you going to tell us what you're going to do for it this year? Will you reveal it exclusively on Real Talk? We'll find out in a second.
If this episode gets 50 likes in the next 2 minutes,
I like that, Adam. If we get $10,000 in the YouTube super chat, Adam will reveal his plans for Weird Beer. But this is one of the most fun things I've ever seen. It involves kind of like a beer passport, and a lot of the craft brewers get on board. For people that aren't familiar with it,
Yeah, so I'll do my best to give an overview. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
I've seen your passport stamps. I know.
The goal is that when tap rooms get a little, winter happens in Edmonton in January and February, it's sad and no one wants to go out and everyone spend all their money on Christmas. You're like, what do? Go support local breweries.
Yep.
A bunch of breweries get involved. They produce weird beers, stuff they might not normally produce and probably will never produce again. And it gives you a reason to go explore and go do something with your weekend or your evening. And Some of the beers these guys have made in the past, I'll pass it off to you. I don't want to take your thunder, but
okay. So we're coming up on the 4th year of it. So we've done 3 batches so far, and we find a way to get weirder and more creative every time. And luckily, people are loving what we're doing at Analog, because the first year we did a ramen noodle rice lager, which was nutty and people loved. Right. The next year, so Brian made the ramen noodle rice lager. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to make the recipe. I'm going to brew it for year 2. I did a Thai yellow curry pineapple smoothie IPA.
Oh, jeez.
Because I wanted the entire screen to be just the description of the beer, like no room for it. But we sold out so fast. Actually, we might be doing a can run of that this year because it was so popular. And last year we did, because Greg, he got a pick. So, love you, Greg. Thanks for all your time with us.
I hate this, but I love this.
Yeah, Greg was like, I want to make a pizza sauce sour. And it was phenomenal. People loved it. It's technically a fruited sour. Tomatoes are a fruit.
May I? I'm like, this is gonna suck. Like, you guys are crazy, and you're like,
it's
this
gonna
is
have
a
chunky bits
idea.
of beef. No.
And then when you drank it, you're like, oh wow, you can actually get like the right amount of basil and like this acidity from tomatoes, and it was balanced and it was flavorful and it was exactly what it should be in the best way. I'm not just saying that like
no.
Tell you it sucked.
No. Yeah.
Every year I'm like, damn it, it's
would
good.
do it on air too. That's the thing.
He would love to tell you.
You would be like, and I hate to tell you, 1 out of 10. No.
So are you going to reveal to us what you're planning on doing for this year's weird beer?
Johnny, how many likes do we get
Coming
so
up,
far?
I think come on. We've got the 50 likes.
A million likes.
A million likes, Adam.
It's just Will pressing the button.
It's just Will in the green room. He doesn't even realize he's
we
just
do have
holding
another
it down.
teammate in the green room who's refused to appear on camera, but
He's camera shy.
Yeah, I think he's smoking out the green room based on how it smells right now.
So Analog, we're going to we've done savory the last 3 years with those ones. So now we wanted to try to find a dessert that has yet to be done in a beer, and I think we found it. We're going to do a baklava black lager.
Oh, I love it already.
Yeah.
I love it already.
Yeah.
Okay, take us through Dog Island's history and weird beer, some of the more interesting ones that you guys have done, including any award winners I know you're particularly proud of, and maybe give us a peek to the future, Rye.
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough being in Slave Lake, but I live here in Edmonton, so we were fortunate enough to get in on weird beer from the ground floor. So we did it 3 years ago. We started with a carrot cake ale.
Ooh,
which was fantastic. It was almost
so
kind
good.
of it was kind of like a pumpkin spiced ale. Like, it had a lot of cinnamon and cloves and all that kind of stuff. So
do you like how I go ooh, like I didn't have like 35 of them? Oh, that sounds good.
That's fair. It was delicious. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of lactose, so it had everything in it. And we sold that out of Beer Rev because we didn't have a spot. So we did everything out of Beer Revolution.
You had a spot. It was just 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Though people did drive up.
We had somebody drive to Slave Lake with their passport, and the guys were there, and they said, like, we don't have a stamp.
Like with their weird beer passport.
Yeah, not with their international. And
like, where did they come from, Huska?
Yeah, they showed up with their weird beer passport, and they're like, we don't have a stamp. So they just signed it and took a picture with them, and that was good enough. 2 years ago, we did a cucumber, lime, and habanero beer, which was
unreal.
Fantastic. And then last year we did a smoked masala chai. Yeah. So that was also incredible. Again, all 3 being sold out of Beer Revolution. But now this year, because we're partnered up with the Den by the Growlery and Analog here in the basement of the Mercer, we will be doing it from there.
Nice.
For what we do for beer, I'm not quite sure yet. There's a lot of ideas that we've been tossing around. I said that I would love to do something with like wheatgrass, but I don't know what that's going to taste like. It could taste like grass clippings when you're done. I don't know.
That's like, it's January.
You've never heard of a lawnmower beer?
New year, new diet. Everyone's being healthy, and you just put
wheatgrass
wheatgrass in your pints.
Brilliant idea.
It's healthy. It's
Isn't
great.
it? I watched The National the other night, and they did a whole feature on how all the new, from Starbucks to Tim Hortons to maybe even some of the more independently owned coffee shops, they're now integrating protein into. Have you seen these like protein lattes? And it's like $3 more than the regular one, but a lot of people are into to it. Maybe you guys go with protein pints.
You know what?
We could drink them during our games.
Well, and so
It's a health drink.
We've also set a bit of a rule that we've said we can't do anything that's already been done over the last 5 years.
Okay.
So there's been some pretty cool stuff. Like last year, or a couple of years ago, Alley Cat used spirulina. Am I right?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, they used spirulina powder.
What was the name of that?
I don't know it.
Wasn't there one that had something to do with beef bouillon or something?
Yeah, that was Odd
Company.
Company.
Odd Company used beef bouillon. They did like a smash burger beer.
Yeah.
Smash burger beer.
But previous year,
Did it work?
It was good.
So
they also had a little topper. It was like a little toothpick that had some lettuce and some tomato and some onion.
I love
and
that.
if you drank the beer with that, don't eat it like I did. It kind of ruined it because I just tasted onion. But if you drank
this beer needs more onion.
if you drank it and smelt it, it was great.
Yeah.
But they also had the burgers that like incorporated the beer back into the patty as they're smashing it. So you could get the burger beer in a burger.
Inception
and
burger
it was like,
beer.
It was like, wah. Yeah, exactly. Just the inception of it.
Okay, well, we're getting some feedback here from Real Talkers in the live chat, powered by Park Power, your friendly local utilities provider. Get exclusive discounts, by the way, Real Talkers, on internet, electricity, and natural gas at parkpower.ca/realtalk. Sign up today, Ironmonger. I would love to see you do
My
it.
utilities are covered, man.
We've got, yeah, that's right. Hey, up next, renting versus buying. That is where we should go. Chad F is in the chat. What's up, Chad? Says he loves the Dandelion Brew. Was that one of yours, or was that another weird beer?
That wasn't polyrhythm, was it?
Dandelion Brew. Interesting.
Is that not a bent stick?
Oh, yes.
That is yes. Yes, it is. I believe that's a bent stick beer.
Okay, well, Chad will let us know.
Yep.
He'll follow up in the chat for sure.
It wasn't a weird beer. I think that was a regular.
In the regular. So how do you guys
regular
determine, like,
beer
if
with
you,
dandelion?
This one that you were just talking about, Adam, that you say, what was it? It was like the Thai yellow curry, pineapple
smoothie IPA.
Just
Just keep saying things. You'll
I
get
almost
it.
got it.
It's just rolling dice and saying names, and that was it.
No, you.
And I actually was right. It was like Wordle. It was like getting Wordle on the first
There's
try.
a lamp in there.
But you tell me,
Fragile.
or you say, like, it sells out basically as fast as you can brew it. It's sold out.
Yeah.
So, as an entrepreneur, why wouldn't something like that then automatically go into your regular rotation? Is it like the mini eggs where you only have to have them a certain time of year, or else they'll get ruined for everybody?
Maybe, but also it keeps Weird Beer special, right? And like Weird Beer is a festival unlike anything else, because again, like it's going to be minimum of 16 breweries this year in Edmonton and Slave Lake coming together to all work together. We're promoting each other's tap rooms and bars. It's not the benefit of any one brewery. It's not just one person getting all the glory. It's all of us as a community. Rising tide raises all ships, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite stories from the last Weird Beer is, we talk about people driving all the way to Slave Lake because they don't read where it says you don't need to go to Beer Rev. We had a family of 5 drive from Saskatoon and hit up all, I think, 19 breweries last year?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
hit up all 19 breweries in 3 days, right? They're doing pints at every single stop. So as a mom, a dad, their 2 sons, and the 1 daughter-in-law, and the mother was the DD for 3 days, right? And they're staying at like Super 8 on Calgary Trail, and they're like, oh yeah, once we get our metal and glass, we're going to be going. We got to get back to Saskatoon. We've already put the suitcases in the vehicle.
Cool.
But it's like people drove from Saskatchewan for this festival. People drive from Grand Prairie. People drive from Calgary. People drive from BC. I would love for the city of Edmonton, if anybody's listening, like, hey, this is something that brings people into the city in January. Like, that's not easy to get people that are like, other than hockey fans.
There's grants out for that.
I
with
know.
the city of Edmonton. For sure.
I would love to have a more fruitful conversation than I've had in the past.
So Chad, by the way,
Call
circling back, says yes, it was a bent stick. The Dandelion beer. I saw here some. It's feedback for you all. Emily G says she's never been a masala fan, but says cardamom all the way. Maybe you look at it, introducing that. Shout out to Ms. Katie in our live chat. By the way, YouTube recognizing her. Johnny, look at this. She's been a member of our YouTube channel member for 5 months now.
Yeah,
Miss
I believe
Katie. That's absolutely fantastic.
I believe she might have been the first.
Was she the very first?
I'll have to go back and
We'll have to
check
check.
the YouTube records, but I believe she was
I've never
one
seen
of the
one
first.
of these badges. So member for 5 months and kicking in another 5, Ms. B. Thank you so much. Says this is to help stock the Real Talk fridge with some of these very creative beers. We sure appreciate that, and we love to expend our capital down at the Den by the Growly here in their historic Mercer Warehouse. I wanted to give a shout out to Super Chat Ken, who also kicked in a contribution here. Real Talkers are buying you guys cold beers as we speak, which is pretty fantastic and very generous of them all. You guys have been downstairs since when did you officially open? It was like June, like early June, right?
Game 1 of the Stanley, we did our soft open.
Game 1 of the Cup final.
Yeah. So it was soft open right up until July 27th.
Yeah, so
July
what's your
27th
experience been of, and Huska, for you, interesting as well, because you and your wife, you guys you're empty nesters now. You got your kids in post-secondary. You got a real high achiever. And was she a ballet dancer or something like that? What's your daughter?
She just started her second year dancing at Alberta Ballet School in Calgary.
Phenomenal. And then your son's studying at university. So you guys downsize, although to a beautiful new downtown condo. So you've kind of you're all in on downtown right now with your new business, with your condo. Adam, you guys obviously still have your tap room and your brewery open on the south side of Edmonton, but here you are in the historic Mercer building as well. We hear a lot about downtown Edmonton. I do my best to sort of accurately and fairly portray this city. We're so proud to be here. Johnny and I are proud to have invested in downtown Edmonton to work down here, but it does have its problems, and it certainly has been one of the key election issues, maybe not the number one, but we know that if we don't fix downtown, we're not going to be able to fix Edmonton and get it back on the right track. Be real. Be honest. I probably should have asked this after 3 more beers.
We got them in front of us.
But what's your assessment, let's say 3 months in, all in on downtown, of the state of downtown? Are you feeling good about your investment? Has anything surprised you? Where's your head at, Rye?
No, nothing surprised me. I'm actually happier than I thought I would be.
Okay.
Doing
Context.
the pivot.
Where you used to live in
Ellerslie
Airdrie,
Road.
right?
No, we lived a little south of the Hendays.
So you went from deep suburbs to downtown core.
Yeah. So my wife's commute was 45 minutes. My son's commute to university was probably an hour and a half.
Jeez.
My wife works at the Shumka Ukrainian dance company, so she does ballet there, and
now she walks to work.
So she walks to work. I walk to the Den. I don't know. I see people jogging and walking, and
I've run into you on the streets randomly. We're like, hey, what's up? Oh my God, you want to go for a beer?
Yeah, we're kind of neighbors. Our buildings are very close to each other, so it's like meet up on the promenade, hang out for a little bit. But honestly, it's fantastic. I find it a whole different lifestyle.
Have you had the foot traffic that you've needed to see in the Den? I mean, it was, I guess, maybe back to school. Like you guys are, to give people, we've got audience obviously across Canada, a lot of people in Alberta, but not everybody from Edmonton. Like for context, you guys are kitty corner to one of the main residences of Grant MacEwan University. You're like 2 blocks from the university itself. You're right across. I mean, we're both 120 feet from Rogers Place. But so I guess on game nights you're booming, probably on concert nights you're going to be busy. But what about regular foot traffic?
Yeah, we're still navigating the landscape right now.
It's a safe. We're still navigating the landscape.
You running for office this fall? God damn.
I am.
We said the 3 Pinters party, right? We were going to launch that today.
Yeah. The 3 Pinters Municipal Political Party.
It is interesting.
We cover all spectrums.
We didn't know. We thought being downtown was just going to be this insane non-stop action tap room, and it, like I said, we are navigating what it is like, the ebbs and flows.
You're still getting a sense of what
100%. Like concert nights and game nights, super busy. Some nights, like we could have a Friday and Saturday where it's a little more chill. So it's really hard to say. But I mean, we only just came in the tail end of the playoffs, so actually coming in for game 1. Beginning of October, and then we're opening for any preseason games, any game nights will be open, and just see what that's like.
How about you, Adam? I mean, you're obviously you're an entrepreneur. I know you have strong political convictions as well, and you're very aware of. See, this is me.
Those are 2 separate things.
This is me. Adam, this is what they call chumming the water.
Yeah.
I'm just getting you set to go here. But as an entrepreneur, as someone who's invested in downtown, how are you feeling about the whole thing?
Well, so downtown has this reputation because I'm like I'm a West End kid. Like I lived my whole life in like Collingwood area, like walking distance to the mall. I went to JP, go Rebels. Like I'm a kid from the west side of Edmonton, so downtown always had that reputation. Even growing up, even back in the 90s, where it was just like, yeah, but you have the mall. Why do you need to go downtown? And I don't know. I think now that I'm an adult and I'm like, man, I really wish we had some more restaurants. Like when I close our bar and it's 11 o'clock, I'm like, man, I wish I had a place that I could go for dinner that's still open and it's not Boston Pizza. No disrespect to Boston Pizza. I love myself some of their pastas, but I would love if our downtown was more happening, right? And I get it that there are people that don't feel safe. I'm a 6'1", 290-pound dude. I'm not afraid of walking around any part of the city because I'm like, even if I get into a situation, I can usually de-escalate it with a few words. And if not, hey guys, I'm not going to outrun most people, but I can just
you can nudge them. You can nudge them.
I box them out.
You do have lunatic eyes, not as a resting face.
And this is where you get into my political stance.
But I have seen you. By the way, our good pal and fellow Three Pinters teammate, the star of CBC, Travis McEwen, is chiming in and wondering, did y'all sleep?
Does it show?
We did not.
We did last call on White Ave last night.
We did hit last call on White Avenue last night. Shout out to Next Act. But I will say this: first game back after months away from one another, squeaking out a 2-point win on a key defensive play. Obviously, the situation called for it. Before we go any further,
all praise to JC.
Yeah, all praise to JC. Amen.
He's got a great block.
Yeah, we did. I congratulated Ms. KD on her 5 months of our YouTube channel membership, and then I forgot to ask the question that she put in the chat. She's wondering if you guys have non-alcoholic beers in your lineup. I know that some breweries are doing them, some aren't.
Always. Everywhere.
Everyone's doing one now?
Yeah, my girlfriend's been doing non-alc for about 5-6 months now.
Talk to us about your girlfriend. Where's she at?
At work.
No, what do you mean? No, did she work at a brewery? What do you mean? You mean she's been drinking it?
Yeah. She's been into non-alcs for the last 5-6 months.
I see what you're saying.
Like, yeah, she's making them. I don't know.
Yeah.
And just like finding your favorite beers of styles you like, there's non-alc ones that are really good and some that aren't as good.
Yeah.
But every single tap room has that box to tick. You can be non-alc and go hang out with your friends and still get a great hop water, get a good soda, local sodas. If you can make this, NA, just make tea.
He's talking about the nice tea.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
and I think a series of like flavored non-alc iced teas would be incredible.
Amazing. Yeah.
Man, I really just want to redo the Lipton brisk iced tea commercials with you then, because I remember being a kid, me and my brother would just like reenact those. You remember the claim? Sorry, this
ain't
is a
nothing
real
on ice. It's gonna save you.
But yeah. When it was Claymation, Sylvester Stallone is like, hey yo, I need something to drink. You know, like I would.
You know what I love? Sorry. I love that we all.
It's over, Rock.
We're all to answer Travis. No, I didn't sleep.
No, you didn't sleep. Well, we were out late, but I just think it's amazing that we're coming up with this brilliant idea for non-alcoholic iced tea. Like, I'm pretty sure it's existed for thousands of years.
It's just tea.
I'm pretty sure it's called tea or iced tea. I'm pretty sure we've pulled the booze out of our hard iced tea.
This was, Pete Nguyen at Sea Change.
Yeah.
I did a little stint with them a couple years ago, and he's like, okay, as they're growing their Shitties brand and doing vodka sodas, they're like, okay, we got to do a non-alc vodka sodas. He's like, so club soda? Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
So, and like for us, like I'll hold this for the camera here. We make our hop water, right? And I freaking love this stuff. And I'm a guy.
Show the proper logo to here's your camera right there, so you can show it. There you can see. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Free play. This is our hop water.
It's called Free Play.
Free play. It's alcohol free. Free play. We did it first for the this is how nerdy we are at Analog. We're the official beer sponsor of the world's largest pinball tournament every year.
I love that you do that.
So they wanted a non-alcoholic option that we made, and I was like, well, I'm actually a fan of hop waters when I get them at other places. This stuff's delicious. It's essentially just soda water.
May I interject? Because you got to pump your own tires.
Thank you.
The first several times I tried hop water, I despised it, and I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Like, I currently sitting here don't know what it is.
I don't want, beer is great because you balance sweetness of malt and bitterness of hops.
Okay.
Right? Together, balanced, delicious. Just hops in water sucks, but people are getting better at it. I had one of these earlier today. Gorgeous. It's like kind of like a peachy thing going on there.
Yeah. It's
refreshing.
You know what? And to really go against the point, like we have the hop waters for the people that are looking for something non-alcoholic. We also did something special at Yegpin where we did a drink called the Slam Tilt, where it was 2 ounces of tequila with 12 ounces of hop water on ice, and it was just like, there you go, because the it's so easy to drink, and these competitive pinball players are like, I got to get back. I've got 60 seconds of rest before my next round. I need a drink right now. Slam Tilt, boom, done. They can chug 2 ounces of tequila, 12 ounces of soda, and go.
Is it like boxing where they sit on a little stool and they do it in the corner and they get warmed up and towel down?
Yeah,
and
but they
go
don't
back into the pinballs.
But they don't spit it out. Right?
So we've been doing something very similar at the Den where we have it's like a gin mixed with lemon and simple syrup from Hanson's Distillery.
Great
and we've
guys.
been adding a couple of shots of that to some hop water, and it is great. It's fantastic. I wish I could like cocktail more and do like an egg broth. I don't know how to do things. I'm more
Shake
of a
egg whites. It's easy.
I'm more of like a bourbon in a glass.
You're not a
guy.
whiskey sour guy. You're more of a bourbon in a glass
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. I will
respect
do an
that.
old fashioned all day every day.
Oh, I know. I've seen you do it all day, every day.
It's a good Negroni too.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you about this fan park. This is one, obviously, that sort of like made news for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I think for the transformative impact that it can have in Edmonton's downtown core. This essentially an addition, or let me say a continuation of the bigger vision of Ice District, about a $400 million project, including funding from the feds, the province. This is kind of like the UCP going even Steven on the funding for the Calgary Arena as well. It was in partnership with Oilers Entertainment Group, but Edmonton City Council had to support the deal, and it was a contentious one. Andrew Knack, a leading candidate for mayor, voted against the deal, says he doesn't like it, doesn't think it ticks the boxes on housing. Some people that have argued against the deal are frankly pissed off because it benefits a billionaire. They don't like that. But people that are celebrating it, people that are bullish on it and excited about it, believe that it's going to draw more, obviously, attendance downtown. It's going to reintegrate life into that part of 104th Avenue and the like. And I'm sure that members of this audience stand at different points on that and different convictions on it. How are you guys feeling about that? It's almost a $500 million deal for Ice District. As an entrepreneur, your business less than 2 blocks from where that's going to be built. How does something like that land with you?
Oh man, the opinions I have are kind of multi-layered, and because it's good to see the even Stevenness of Calgary in this, and
Sure.
I try not to get too hung up on like, oh, you're helping Kate's or that. I worry about who's not benefiting. Like, look at the other live music venues that are now like, well, how are we possibly going to compete? How is Starlight Room? How is the Backyard? Like, how are the Black Dog, Bird Dog? Like, these guys have built their entire careers and businesses around being a live music venue, and now the city and the province have just said, here is your official place for live music, and it's going to be all the big events. I worry it's going to cause people to leave the independence and go
what's the
to
capacity?
the OHG.
What's the capacity of the new space though?
I
Because
know.
there is a need for there's a gap between the 2,200 of Midways and then the however many tens of thousands of Rogers.
Yeah.
There's a gap in between. I hope it addresses that gap and isn't just a 500 person and taking away from the local, the smaller ones.
Yeah,
I
they're
know.
saying that the current Oilers fan park, a capacity of approximately 7,500 people, which I think actually kind of like fills a void in Edmonton.
That's what
to
I'm
be honest
saying.
with you,
That
I think
could
the
be a
only other
good-
ones I can think of that could do 75 are probably like Clark Stadium, which is like not really like by Commonwealth. It's not even really. That's not really a concert venue. It's not covered. It's
Any
not.
concert in Commonwealth Stadium is shit.
Hey, no.
Well, Morgan Wallen's about to fill
Sound-wise,
Commonwealth.
come on.
Listen, Guns N' Roses there was the greatest concert of my
so
life.
Oh, Guns N' Roses
Yeah,
was fantastic.
right?
Were you
Okay,
there
I
for
feel
the
like that's the one you could pull off. All
The
right.
AC/DC show, I was there. They
well-
started playing Thunderstruck as thunder was rolling in, and the rain. So it was like, I was like, what is happening? I mean, I could.
How much do you pay for that add-on?
Oh my gosh! Can I tell you about my AC? I'll make it 2 sentences. My AC/DC story. It like sold out. This is what was it? 10 years, more than that they were in town. And I was watching. I was like, why on earth? And I was broadcasting at the time. I was a host of a show, and I'm like, tonight, Edmontonians, Albertans, AC/DC. And in my brain, I'm like,
Did you just do your own
why?
Jespo
That
impersonation?
was me doing me. But I was like, why on earth do I not have AC/DC tickets? And then I hear, they're releasing more tickets day of. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like on it. I'm like, I'm going to get these tickets. I can't believe what an amazing price I get, right? And then I didn't quite like pay attention to the map, or I didn't quite understand the layout of Commonwealth Stadium. I'm now 7 sentences into my 2-sentence story. And
We're counting.
well, it turns out, so their stage is like in the one end zone basically, and I am in the other end zone behind like 200 porta potties. So my entire AC/DC concert experience was trying not to puke with like this really, it was so polluted. Actually, it was like literally polluted. So I ended up watching most of the show just from like the concourse, and I'd like stand at the top of the stairs till the ushers would kick me off and tell me to leave.
Move to the next one.
Good show nonetheless. But I take your point on venues and maybe some of the impact that can have on spillover businesses. Are you feeling, what do you think?
So my fear is that you keep drawing people into a business that sells mostly macro beer, and you're taking the business away from all the craft breweries that are surrounding, right? Like you're pulling everybody into this one spot, and then they're not filling up the tap rooms and then heading to the games. Right. That is the biggest fear. And then also, you know, the fan park is taxpayer dollars being contributed to some of it.
Yeah.
And it's coming out of our small businesses, and then we're not benefiting from people coming in our tap rooms. That is the only thing for me. And like they want people to come into the fan park, they want them to hang out, drink, do whatever, and then migrate over to Rogers, and then you're not coming to all the spaces close by.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and it'd be an interesting little caveat I would love to. Sorry, I'm hijacking this.
It's allowed.
It's encouraged apparently. It would be a nice little caveat, I think, if going forward the city of Edmonton, whenever the next council is assembled, that if venues are receiving city of Edmonton funds, there almost should be an obligation that they carry products produced within the city of Edmonton wherever possible.
Yeah, but you and I both have buddies that work at and I got buddies at the Labatt Brewery. We got buddies they say the same
contracts
thing.
are huge,
and they're in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. And I'm not gonna like simp for big brewers.
No.
We've got very good friends that work at Molson as well.
But
they're very proud of what they do too.
And I understand that, but like there's a city-owned facility that I've been trying to get a meeting with for years.
Yeah,
and they carry beer from BC and Saskatchewan and Airdrie. And I'm like, well,
what's the facility? Name them.
No,
Not
doing that.
Guarantee you'll never get in there by calling them out.
No.
Dude, we play against one of the guys that works in one of those facilities.
Yeah.
Remember Arlindo?
You guys are being so
but
coy.
I'm
so annoying.
I do agree with Adam though. I think if you do the fan park and you do want to give a little bit of love to like the local distilleries and breweries, put us on for a little bit. Like just put us on for a fraction, have a little section that sells just craft.
Look at K-Days.
K-Days.
And look at the Riverhawks.
We go to Stingers
games. The
games.
Riverhawks are Edmonton's. Sorry to interrupt. The Riverhawks are Edmonton's only professional team that serves exclusively local liquor.
Yeah.
Whether it's the ready to drink beverages, the beer. I think they're bringing in Hanson and Righand for their liquor. Like they went and said, you know what, we don't need to go with Coors Light anymore. Let's go local, and they've created. Look at that team has revived.
The Riverhawks are doing unbelievable
work. It's the biggest patio in the city,
right?
It's amazing.
You get to drink beer out of a bat.
They averaged over
sold.
They averaged over 5,000 people.
We should do bat beers
or hockey stick beers.
Or just drink out of a basketball.
See, this is the guy. He's like, you're like, why don't we grab a pint? Huska's like, we could drink out of a fish tank. But by the way, just in the live chat, I want to bring up to speed here. Everybody's having a lot of fun with this conversation. We're getting a lot of people were at that AC/DC show. Nice. By the way, Ken K trying to stir it up here says AC/DC is meh. Sharon says she was there and they were absolutely soaked. Les and Lauren with the great jokes based on my perspective, my view at that. They said sounds like a real shit show, Jespo, a real shitty view, if you will. Yeah. Sharon was on the ground, and I love this from Scarlett as well. Just hell yeah. Rocking and rolling on that. AC/DC, she says it was the best show ever. Everybody that was there remembers. And I always wondered, because the storm was coming in, like it was actually pretty sketchy. The clouds are rolling in, and it starts getting like this really ominous Edmonton sky. And I was like, and then they start playing like that's, and the place goes bonkers. And like almost everybody, it felt like almost everybody there had these like red flashing LED devil horns. And so there were like probably 15 or 20,000, I'm not joking, red flashing devil horns and the storms rolling in. And I was just like, this is absolutely unbelievable. We've got some people cynical on whether or not they want their beers to taste like beef, which is fair.
It's a one-time thing.
We should also mention Town Square did a beef brisket beer, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
It was a dark beer that had like a nice little bit of spice to it.
And here's the thing.
And then they harvested the briskets to make pizzas for the next month.
And it was from meat. Meat supplied them with these briskets. And
You're
I
talking
think
about the business just
Yeah.
on White House.
Yeah,
So-
and they overshot.
And that's what maybe some people need to understand. Like, this is a one-off thing. It's a weird beer
Yeah,
thing
it's
to
a-
highlight. This isn't like your regular top-selling six-pack of beef beer. You know what I mean?
It is a 30-day festival testing the limits of what beer can be.
100%.
But also
It's experimental.
The first year we had it was like -40, -45, and people were out hitting up every single brewery in 3 days.
What else?
We actually had to put a rule in for future years where it's like, okay, you can't collect the prize for the first 10 days because people were going to every single spot and trying to be like, well, I got to do it in 2 days or you'll run out.
I would also like to say, like, I never had an undrinkable beer. I had
No,
like,
we know that, Huska. Yeah.
You just talked about drinking out of a basketball. So.
it had no hint of basketball. It was delicious.
No, say whether he liked it or not. It's just undrinkable.
You've been quite clear that you found a way to drink every possible beer that you've ever come across.
I do what I can. But like there was a squid ink beer. There was a lobster beer.
What?
There has been Endeavor in St. Albert did a green onion cake beer. As
that was great.
They also
and a
did
great shout out to Edmonton Heritage.
Oh yeah, and it was fantastic. Like all those beers, they balance them well. So if you do it with the right beer, it's delicious. If you do like a squid ink beer and something that is not a dark beer, it might be a little trickier. It worked really well.
Wouldn't any beer become a dark beer if you're putting squid ink in it?
Yes,
No,
yes, it
because
would.
squid ink is not water soluble.
What?
Right.
Okay, so go. Okay,
Squid. So it was Long Roof that did the squid ink beer, and they found that squid ink is not water soluble, right? So it just settles right out. So you get the flavor, but it's the color's gone. So they had to be like, oh, how are we going to color it? And that's where Black Prince malt and those
Same
sorts
thing.
of things come in.
Polyrhythm did a matcha. Was
Yep.
it matcha
Yeah, matcha
last
beer.
year? And same
That
kind of
was
thing,
good.
right? It like settled. So they had to figure out ways to like distribute it through the beer.
Polyrhythm made one that is now part of their that they do regularly, but they did
the hurdy-gurdy.
The hurdy-gurdy, where they served it where they would boil it in a tea kettle and serve it to you hot. And it was like -40
What kind of
degrees.
beer was that one again?
It was a mulled. Was it a mulled
sour?
mulled wine sour?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
I
good.
got time for that.
Yeah. So it was
Especially -40 outside.
It was -40. Everybody's coming in and they're like, to take off the winter jacket, take off the second winter jacket, take off the sweater, take off the little thin sweater and your long sleeve t-shirt. Oh, good. Okay, I can live again. And then they serve you a hot beer, and it's like, beer shouldn't be hot. And I'm like, and this is.
I think it got Will on
Hot take.
on the hot beers because we went to Irrational and they did like a hot cocoa beer and Will was like, "Can you please heat that up for me?"
Yeah, being it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Will, by the way, is our mystery teammate that's hanging out in the green room right now. So
Yeah, one of the taller 3-pinters. I should probably
But not-
also
but-
mention that I am like at 5'9". I think I'm probably the smallest
You
pinter.
didn't have to disclose
Greg,
that, but
but-
I
but-
appreciate
yeah.
the transparency.
Greg, my other best friend Greg, I will point out for him, he would very emphatically tell you 5'9" is the statistical average height for a North American man.
That's what I keep saying to you, very
only
tall
people
people.
that
But
are
Huska.
5'9" or shorter know that.
But Huska, I'm 5'11", and I'm at least a half a foot taller than you. So
Yes, that's fair.
But
I've just been
6'1"
lying
on
about
your
my
dating
age.
profile, right?
what's that?
But
He
6'1"
doesn't have-
on your dating profile.
He's happily committed.
I know,
Yeah,
I
he's
know.
happily committed. I love this. We got a great suggestion here from Lauren, who says that you could have in these city-owned venues or some of the public venues, if you were going to have like almost a craft beer garden or an area where you could get different craft brews, you could call it witchcraft.
Oh,
That's actually Lauren. I can see this resonated with these two. They might steal that. Anything?
Patent pending.
Yeah, patent pending. He goes ahead and trademarks
TM.
it. I like that. Anyway, guys, this has just obviously been like so much fun, and grateful to have you here. And I'm trying to think if there's anything. I feel
I
like
got some.
I don't want to call this a failure. Johnny, you got something?
I just want to ask them about the Doug Ford, what they think of that before they're out of here.
Thanks
And
for
I
the
just want to caveat or come back in. So they're still making it in Manitoba. It's still It's still distilled in
Crown
Manitoba.
Royal?
Yeah, they've shut down the bottling, which is a huge plant in Ontario.
Okay.
So Crown Royal will still be made in Canada. It will no longer be bottled in Ontario for some reason.
Thank you for the clarification. That's actually an important detail. And I was a little bit nervous. You know those big 60s? If you can show that photo, like the Doug Ford photo. Did you guys see this? This is the Premier of Ontario.
That's all I've seen is
Yeah,
lungs.
I would like to interject and say the only thing is, if I was dumping out a large bottle of
Lose
Crown
the
Royal,
slow
I
pour.
would take the slow pour
The
out.
slow pour. I was saying that yesterday. It's so annoying to watch it. Like it's almost like, it's like a politician that when they're asked about the price of milk or bread and they don't know it.
Well, it's like wearing the cowboy hat backwards.
It's like wearing the cowboy hat backwards. Like sitting, because what you want that moment where Doug Ford is like, "This is what I think of Crown Royal," and then it was
smash
like,
the bottle.
It was trickling. It was like a 90-year-old with prostate cancer, just like this trickle at the podium, and it was like very frustrating. But yeah, what do you guys like when you see something like that? Like seeing politicians go to bat for local industry. Obviously, Crown Royal is a major brand owned by a massive multi-billion-dollar company. It's not exactly apples and apples that we're talking about here. But would you guys like to look at that photo? That's honestly, Johnny. When you and I were first talking about that, I'm like, that is an award.
It's the facial expression. He's visibly upset.
Like I would love to see an artist. I know you can just get filters for this, but I'd love to see an artist paint.
Oh
that,
yeah, this
right?
is a T-shirt.
It's a T-shirt. It's an incredible. It's like the lighting is perfect on
I
his
was saying
face.
earlier, there's probably like a big gulp cup.
So he's like
underneath full
There's
of
a guy
Coke
just laying underneath, just wheezing the juice.
I appreciate that reference.
Thank you.
So what is he angry about?
Well, he's angry that their Crown Royal's pulling their operation out of Ontario.
It's a very large plant in
It's
Ontario.
huge-
A lot
how
of
many-
jobs.
it's
a lot of
hundreds of jobs.
So it's not an elbows up Canada thing. It is a just Ontario protection.
It's an Ontario thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but wouldn't you like to see, or would you? I don't know. Would you like to see more Alberta protections? Would you guys like to see your elected officials?
That's where who are you talking to? Are you talking to a political science student, Adam? Are you talking to business owner, Adam? Are you talking to
Adam? Just be Adam.
But
Be Adam C in the Real Talk Live chat. What would he say?
Basketball Adam with his elbows up.
Yeah. Depends how angry I am. Throw it, but elbows up, right? Like Alberta is not a protectionist market. Like we let beer in, we let liquor in from every market, but we don't get the same love, right? And it's like, I'm a political nerd. I listen to podcasts from all over the world.
You have very strong opinions, none of which you have shared on this podcast.
Right? But
do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, you've been on your best.
He's wearing his business suit, so
Right.
when he takes that off, that's a different podcast.
Tune in for the after show when tequila gets brought out. But no, like
Real Talk
I
After
listen to
Dark.
podcasts from all over the world, and I remember listening to the Economist podcast when they were talking about the legalization of pot.
Yeah.
When they first legalized weed, and they brought in the Canada expert, and it's a podcast out of England, and I apologize to your wife for the accent I'm about to do. But they brought in the Canada expert, and they're talking about how all the different provinces, some will be private run, some will be government run.
Sure.
And the guy goes, well, how can a country possibly run like that? If you have 10 different rules for 10 different locations, it's not feasible. That's not a country. And the Canada expert just says, oh, but you see, Canada's not actually a country. It's 10 countries that hate each other wearing a very large trench coat.
I was trying to enjoy a succulent Chinese meal.
But that's the thing. Like
You're not
Ontario,
wrong, though.
Ontario protects Ontario. Like the LCBO had a seminar for Alberta breweries, being like, hey, you guys keep filing requests to get your products sold in LCBO. Tune into the seminar, and we'll tell you what's up. We tune in, and they say, stop applying. We're not going to sell your products because they're saving room for Ontario because Canada's largest province doesn't have room for competition when it comes to beer, right? And that's the thing. So I'm like, part of me I would love if Doug Ford,
Not Rob, Doug
Ford. Thank you,
Doug.
I'm like,
Dog Ford works.
Doug Ford,
Dog
Ford
could be
Brewing.
the new Dog Island weird beer. It can be Dog Ford.
There
That's
you go.
actually a brilliant. You can integrate.
Coming
spiced
soon.
with Crown Royal.
Yeah, a slow pour of Crown Royal.
Great idea.
Right, but I would
Put
I
that
would
photo.
love-
Put that photo right on the beer.
100%.
Great. Yeah.
Ben's face reenacted. But like, I would love if Ontario opened up and said, "Hey, look, like we don't need these protectionist rules. We are all Canadian. Let's do it." And say like, Alberta beer should be sold in Ontario. Ontario beer should be sold here. I don't want the government to protect Albertans from opinion from choices. I don't want Ontario's government to protect their people from choices. Let the best beer win. And here in Alberta, we compete. Like anybody can sell their beer here. If you can get it here, it's sold here.
Yeah.
We've had numerous years where at the Canadian Beer Awards, it is there are a lot of Alberta breweries that are taking home gold
because we have to compete.
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
So with the Crown Royal plant closing, just before we end this conversation, 200 jobs lost.
200.
Another 50 to 70 in the union that represents those workers.
Okay, yeah.
And about the LCBO saying if there's a blowback from this and less purchasing for their stores of Crown Royal, $740 million out of the Ontario economy.
Wow.
Possibly.
It's a huge deal.
Also,
it's kind of weird buying liquor from the government. Isn't that like buying porn from your parents?
Adam.
There you go. You wanted my hot take.
No, I want your hot take on porn in school libraries. You want to get into the book, man? No, we're going to wrap up. Adam told me, I will say this. This is a little, as we were sitting there last night, drinking our main squeeze. Shout out to
Alley Cat.
Alley Cat.
30 years.
They deserve a
Saturday.
big shout out for
30
30
years. That is Edmonton's oldest craft brewery.
Neil, right? And then he sold it, about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe?
2019.
2019, something like that. You're just like my beer encyclopedia every single time.
Even if you're wrong, you're confident.
But how about this from Ben Demon Hunter pointing out, and I do happen to remember, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben's a big bourbon and whiskey guy. I think he's a big Scotch guy. But Ben says the LCBO, Liquor Control Board of Ontario, is the biggest alcohol purchaser in the entire world.
So for them to lose $750 million, that's a lot
maybe
of
aside from Huska. It's Huska, and then it's the LCBO.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Guys, this has obviously been a lot of fun. I didn't finish my thought, but I was telling people when we were enjoying our main squeeze and getting our eats in at the next act last night, you said to me, you said there were a few no-fly zones. You said the school book ban is not one you want to.
I don't have children. I don't have any dog in that fight. Why? I make beer. Like,
you know what I'm really excited
it's a little bit
about?
like Kid Rock talking about politics. Like, why do we listen to that guy? Don't listen to me about how schools are run because I don't have kids.
You know what I'm excited
about?
I
wanted to be a teacher. I went to school for it, but yeah.
I can't wait for when your comments calling out Ontario for its protectionism make their way to the office of Premier Doug Ford without any context. No. And they're going to wonder, why is this guy wearing a men's league basketball jersey with a baseball jersey over top? It's not going to make any sense, and I love it. He's going to blow it up, and you're going to sell more beer than you've ever sold in your entire life. How's that?
That's, you know what? Hey, if taking swipes at Ford sells beer, cool.
Who knew?
New business plan.
Hey, Ford, I've
Dog Ford. I
can't wait. Dog Ford. Charity boxing match. Let's go.
I can't wait for
Coming soon. The stores near you.
Oh, I would pay to watch that.
I've never boxed. I'm guessing neither has he.
A couple of heavyweights. That would be an unbelievable. Ryan Huska, one of the owners of Dog Island Brewing, Adam Corsaut, one of the owners of Analog Brewing, and both of them collaborators on the fantastic The Den by the Growler right here in the historic Mercer Warehouse right in downtown Edmonton. I encourage you to come support these guys. They're brewing some of the best stuff on planet Earth. Huska, this nice tea of yours should come with a warning label. I think I had 9 of them the first time I tried it. And Andrew Ironmonger, the founder of the Alberta Beer Guide. Hey, real quick, 30 seconds or so. A lot of people have been asking. The Alberta Beer Guide has been on hiatus, but they absolutely loved what you were doing with it. Is there any chance that we may see a publication again down the line?
There's a chance for sure.
Okay.
It's something I do miss. I'm in a new field right now. My day job is with Cap Engineering, which is
nice shout
very
out.
Fruitful, and it's a firm that's been around for 20 years, and they're fantastic. They build shit.
Yeah,
which is great. There's a solar farm going in Watson Lake right now to help reduce 1 million liters of diesel burned every year. Like we're building really cool stuff. But aside from the day job, like I love the beer community. I've been still active, not as creating as much, but I'm watching, I'm listening, I'm seeing what's going on. I see what people are doing. And
people can. I mean, I ask you questions about the beer industry all the time, and you never hesitate. People can still follow you on Instagram at AB Beer Guide, and you're still posting.
Yep.
You're still sharing your love for the craft. I'm showing your account right now. I love this. As a matter of fact, look at this. One of your most recent.
Oh, the Den.
The
How
Den.
delightful.
There you go. By the Growly, the newest tap room to open in Edmonton is the Den. And officially, by mentioning it, I think that's my 5th time, I will now not be paying for a pint for 1 calendar year. How does that sound?
Deal. We'll take it out of Ryan's tips.
How is your business doing in downtown Edmonton? It was fine until Jespo and Johnny had an open tab.
Drank him out of business.
Yeah, drank him out of business. All right, we got the Flamethrower coming up. You guys are welcome to sit here and enjoy, or you can go hang out with Will in the green room, and I'll catch up with you guys in just a quick second, but feel free to hang out. This has been a super fun episode. This is exactly what we were looking for to send us into our Friday, but we do want to make sure there's a couple of things on your radar. While you're on Instagram, checking out AB Beer Guide and following Analog and Dog Island, make sure you check out the Edmonton Chamber as well. Coming up in just a few days, as a matter of fact, on September 12th, Edmonton's Leadership Our Choice. The Edmonton Chamber of Commerce presents one of the most hotly anticipated events heading into the provincial election. That's right. New city councils will manifest themselves across the province of Alberta, including in the capital city of Edmonton. And Edmonton's Chamber of Commerce is putting 5 of those candidates in front of you. Michael Walters, Andrew Knack, Tim Cartmel, Raheem Jaffer, and Omar Mohammed. Omar Mohammed, by the way, joining us on Real Talk coming up on September 17th. I can't wait. The guy's an absolute beauty. You can get your tickets to this event by checking out the link via their Instagram, or of course you can always just visit edmontonchamber.com. We are proud members of the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce. It's your business's most valuable investment. Strengthen your business, support our community with a membership via edmontonchamber.com. Hey, this weekend, still got time, obviously, friends, but we see these leaves starting to turn. It's a perfect barbecue weekend, and if that is your plan, I want you to make sure you pop into a Friesen Brothers. They've got their Alberta Beef Roundup happening right now. You know, for 70 years, Friesen Brothers has been helping Alberta communities fill their freezers with quality Alberta beef. And the Alberta Beef Roundup continues that tradition. It's a 60-pound pack of real Alberta beef, expertly cut and wrapped by their in-store butchers and freezer ready for you. You can find out more details on their website, friesen.com/Alberta Beef Roundup. When you visit your butcher at Friesen Brothers, you make sure you let them know Real Talk sent ya. And our friends at Athabasca University welcoming back, of course, thousands of students this fall. But you know the beauty of Athabasca University is Canada's open university. You can start your studies in September or October or November or December or January if you get the idea, right? World-class accredited online degrees and courses designed so you can complete your education wherever and whenever it works for you. You can open your options with online offerings at Athabasca University. You know that more than 92%, this is relevant, this is important, more than 92% of AU alumni say they're working in a job related to their field of study. How great is that? Athabasca University, the AU advantage. Learn more today at athabascau.ca. And Johnny, before we get to Flamethrower, I just wanted to mention as well to our friends here, our friends at UCAN Youth Services. Of course, we've been sharing with you our excitement around this partnership. We've named them our charity of choice for 2025-26, and that means that we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that they can grow the impact of what they're doing, and that is helping young people out of harm's way and onto a path of economic independence. They're doing this through a number of different methods. You can check out their work on their website at ucan.ca, including the Relentless Outreach with young adults, and then the Road to Work and Verto projects. These are job placement or employment readiness programs, 8 or 12-week programs in partnership with Edmonton area employers like IKEA, like Tim Hortons. The proof is in the pudding. UCAN Youth Services, it works. It's changing lives. You can consider a donation today or learn more about the program. If you're an employer, consider a partnership with UCAN Youth Services. Contact them today via ucan.ca. All right, well, as we wrap up every podcast week here on the show, courtesy of our friends at the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park, we hand the mic over to you. Yeah, that's right. These are all real emails or YouTube comments from Real Talkers, your hottest takes. It's the The Flamethrower, presented by the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. And Ryan, not Huska, but another Ryan kicks us off here. And he says, all right, Jespo. He says, Ralph was right about something. Okay, referencing former Premier Klein says, I'm going after these city folk, says Ryan, who believe that we should just let the criminals run amok. As a rural resident, we are well aware that emergency services may take a while to reach us. The majority of time when we see police presence, it's for revenue generation and traffic enforcement. We don't see rural crime watch meetings led by the police anymore. Ambulance services are typically assisted by the fine volunteer firefighters that proudly serve their communities. You know, one of the qualities of living this rural life is to work hard and enjoy the spoils of your work and to raise your family in peace. Now that said, when somebody comes to relieve you of your spoils or relieve you of your peace without your invitation or consent, it gets old having to pay insurance premiums because of the dregs of society refusing to work hard for themselves. You know, more and more reports of violent home invasions across North America are coming to light, and it's understandable that people are fighting back, and criminals who have not been held accountable by the justice system are entering the find out phase of their fuckery. Folks in the rural areas have typically access to heavy equipment. They can dig a hole in less time than it takes for authorities to show up. Adam, I knew you were going to love this one. If they even show up and just tell you to come to town and file a police report during office hours, Ralph had it right. Shoot, shovel, and shut up. And enough of these low lifes happen to not make it home. Perhaps the message will get sent. That from Ryan, a proud rural resident. The small print, the show does not endorse vigilante justice or murder in any way, shape, or form. How about this one from Robert, a letter from rural Alberta. He says, hey, Jespo, thank you for having, not insane people on your show. Says it's refreshing. I mean, the odd one doesn't matter. But he says, generally, Robert, as soon as you started reading Marie's email the other show, I thought it was going to be about city folk being disrespectful because, we can get a latte and not understanding real or rural Alberta while complaining about others being divisive. And that's the passive-aggressive stuff that I don't miss about country living, says Robert. Sure, there's problems in rural Alberta, like healthcare falling apart, public education being dismantled, but maybe bring that up with your MLA and not us woke city folk. He says, anyway, good work on the book ban topic. It really does make us all look like fucking clowns on a global stage when we're more concerned with bullying kids than keeping them safe from the measles. Robert says, I don't want Alberta to be Florida minus the Stanley Cup. Robert getting a jab in there at the end. What about this one from Wendy, who says, all right, Jespo, the final straw for me, this Ensuring Fairness and Safety Act in Alberta. Parents with kids in sports now required to sign a form confirming their child's sex or gender at birth. But before declaring this deplorable act, did this government receive letters or emails or phone calls from parents or coaches or teachers, school boards, or the general public complaining about the unfairness about a high number of young trans female athletes competing in school sports? Is there evidence that too many young girls are losing to trans girls in sports, or that teams are now being stacked with trans girls and winning a disproportionate number of tournaments? Nothing is ever evidence-based, says Wendy. As usual, this government has created a solution to a problem that does not exist, and it is discriminatory and blatantly anti-trans, and I, for one, am sick of it! That from Wendy. And how about this one from Matthew, who calls me to the carpet and says, Jespo, I am disappointed in your comments on the Blatchford neighborhood development. You do such an excellent job of showing multiple perspectives when you raise an issue, and yet on this one, you're using loaded language without even trying to highlight another perspective, let alone trying to actually learn about it first. Around half of this neighborhood is either developed, roads, utilities built, ready to sell, being developed, or in the planning stages. Ironmonger knows that's not true. No, I'm just joking, Matthew. And he goes on, he says there's already 300 townhouse units built or under construction, some of them going for under 350 grand, others are rentals. He says the first people moved in there back in November 2020. I rent one of those units, he says. It was the most affordable rental I could find in Edmonton, decent quality, $1,400 a month, including utilities. Matthew, that's actually phenomenal. He says the next stage is almost ready for builders, serviced and ready to go. Before you call Blatchford a boondoggle again, consider this. What do you think about Griesbaugh, another Edmonton neighborhood still under development more than 20 years after the first lots went on the market in 2004? He says, I don't expect you to whitewash anything, and I don't want you to stop holding the city accountable, but please try to have some fucking nuance. Don't just drive past the neighborhood, drop by to look with your own eyes, look at how many homes get sold before the foundations are even poured. Talk to the city, man, seeing the development, some builders on the ground, or maybe even some residents. Just do your damn homework. He says, try to have more depth than just calling my neighborhood of Blatchford a boondoggle. We deserve better, your show is worthy of better, and you are more than capable of delivering. Matthew, point taken! Matthew takes us into the weekend with another episode of The Flamethrower, proudly presented by the DQs in Palisades, Namao, Newcastle, Westmount, and Baseline Road. When you pop in for a yellow Thai curry pineapple smooth. No, they don't do that shit with their blizzards, but I recommend the Score Blizzard and the Flamethrower Signature Stack Burger. Make sure you let them know that Real Talk sent you. Supriya Dwivedi is back with us on Monday, right after we sit down in person with Minister Evan Solomon. It's going to be a great week. Some other big surprises in store, too. You can always sign up for our email at ryanjesperson.com and make it a great weekend.
Real Talk is hosted by Ryan Jesperson, executive producer Josh Dunford, technical producer John Hicks, general manager Katie Cook-Chivers, account coordinator Lawrence Derlego, human resources Lena Shepard, website design Mike Johnston, voiceover by me, Carrie Skelton. Real Talk's editorial board is Supriya Dwivedi, Ahmed Ali, Brandy Morin, Ann Castleman, Corey Hogan, Harmon Candola, Catherine O'Neill, and Chris Henderson. Member Emerita, Julie Rohr. Real Talk is recorded in Edmonton, Alberta on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, and Nakota Sioux, home to the Métis settlements and the Métis Nation of Alberta. Real Talk is a relay project. For more, check out ryanjesperson.com.